You're listening to an African Elements top news story for July 11th, 2025. Please visit our website at africanelements.org for more daily news. The Central African Republic, CR, is in a deep humanitarian crisis due to ongoing conflict, insecurity, and displacement. As of April 2025, 2.4 million people, nearly 38% of the population, require urgent assistance, with over 442,000 internally displaced. The southeastern, northeastern, and western regions face severe instability marked by widespread sexual violence and inadequate maternal health services. A recent assessment in Braya revealed alarming rates of rape, child marriage, and female genital mutilation, compounded by critical shortages in clinical services for survivors. The termination of U.S. aid has jeopardized access to vital sexual and reproductive health (SRH) services for nearly 70,000 women and girls, particularly in refugee hosting areas like Birao. The lack of SRH services increases risks for women and girls, including unintended pregnancies and childbirth complications. Despite ongoing challenges, there have been some signs of progress in peace efforts. In May 2015, CAR militias agreed to a disarmament deal, offering hope for a peaceful future. However, setbacks and renewed violence have persisted. In February 2023, the government signed another significant agreement with armed groups, integrating fighters into new army units and government positions, aiming to foster stability through inclusion. This agreement has garnered international support, yet violence continues to plague the country, creating an atmosphere of fear and instability. Civilians remain at constant risk from armed groups, complicating humanitarian aid delivery. The conflict in neighboring Sudan has exacerbated CAR's situation, leading to an influx of refugees. Clashes between the Sudanese armed forces and the Rapid Support Forces since April 2023 have caused massive displacement. In August 2023, CAR granted prima facie refugee status to Sudanese fleeing the conflict, reflecting its commitment to humanitarian principles. The government and humanitarian partners are addressing the urgent needs of over 20,000 new arrivals, but significant challenges remain in providing adequate living conditions in the historically marginalized Vakaga prefecture. The humanitarian response in CAR is severely hampered by a significant funding shortfall, limiting essential aid delivery. In February, the humanitarian coordinator allocated $3 million to address gaps in gender-based violence (GBV) interventions, representing only 25% of the required funding. In the first quarter of 2024, only 28% of GBV survivors received timely psychosocial support and medical care. The lack of comprehensive support perpetuates cycles of trauma and vulnerability within communities. Regional conflicts, particularly in Sudan and Chad, exacerbate vulnerabilities within CAR, leading to continuous refugee influxes and increased strain on resources. The arrival of over 20,000 refugees from Sudan illustrates how regional instability contributes to internal displacement and complicates humanitarian efforts. Armed groups operating across borders further destabilize the region, complicating state authority and peace efforts. The Central African Republic is at a critical juncture. The humanitarian crisis, marked by widespread displacement, gender-based violence, and a lack of essential services, demands immediate international attention. The resilience of the Central African people is remarkable, but their strength must be met with tangible support and long-term solutions. The termination of vital aid and significant funding shortfalls leave vulnerable populations, particularly women and girls, at greater risk. The international community has a moral imperative to ensure adequate funding for humanitarian efforts. While peace efforts offer hope, pervasive violence and regional conflicts continue to undermine progress. Addressing these challenges requires increased humanitarian funding, robust civilian protection, and support for peace processes that integrate armed groups and expand government control. Regional cooperation is essential to manage cross-border movements and address root causes of instability. The future of CAR and the well-being of its people depend on a compassionate global response to their urgent needs. Copyright African Elements.